Alchemy 9, take 2. So yeah, my phone went out because of a phone call that I was getting, so I'm back. um, yeah, frog medicine. So frog medicine for clarity and replenishment and renewal and regenerating. So yay, regenerating so we can play, yeah. And calling in the thunder beings and the lightning and that energy to ground. Yeah. So that's profound too. But yeah, remembering that the Fool is all. So just be all and be nothing. Be receptive to be all, to know all, to free all, to be with all. And so yeah, it's super helpful to have those reminders and like that, those allies helping me in my space. Like, yeah, clear a new place, like for a new life and new growth to be expressed, cultivated, and come through and forth through me. And so, yeah, clearing some of the old debris, which is kind of funny, like how it connects to so many animal companions that have been popping up for me to play with lately. And yeah, going back to roots and getting grounded. And that's what it's been about lately too. And also like opening and revisioning and dreaming new dreams and focus, changing my focus. The magician. Yeah. Inspired actions. And I have been like really inspired to act. Like really, there's a fire that's been lit under my butt. So like I kind of knew like, yeah, that's what's coming up. Like it is time, like, because there's a time for dreaming and like maybe planning, but then there's definitely a time for action. And it's kind of funny that all of these medicine companions have showed up to help me with action too. And one of them was Beaver, my eager beaver people pleaser. And Beaver is really interesting because, yeah, because of his huge teeth and his connection with the trees, yeah, and the dam, hot dam, and then yeah, the bridge from the water to the land over the water from the land. So the bridge, the arc, and yeah, that kind of like medium, you know. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And yeah, he's number 4, and or 22, which reduces to 4. So he's a master builder. And yeah, I love all the animals, but I love beaver. So yeah, I did write some things down, like about all of these things that were coming up that related to me and like just seemed significant or yeah, noteworthy to me. And so I did write a bunch of things down about how these animals were coming up to help me. So but first I think I will share just a few little things from what I've been getting and how they've all been helping me, because these qualities and these aspects and these energies don't exist alone. They all work in relationship with and through and for and in in and through each other. And so it is kind of funny how they all do relate and they all have a part to play. And so it is all about the parts we play, and it's like all about like harmonizing all of this energy through cooperating, and yeah, being who we are and showing up for our parts. And that was a huge thing. Yeah, it was ant medicine last time. Ant medicine. It was really like asking me, calling me, like, your community needs you. Like, be a part of your community, show up for your community. Even if you feel small and you can't do anything, or you feel like you can't do anything, just show up and be there. And yeah, that's what's needed, is just to be there and then go from there, you know? So it was kind of funny. At the beginning of the week, Monday, I was just really tired. I haven't been sleeping all that well, but like I've still been okay, doing well, doing as well as I can, and with what is. And yeah, Monday I was just kind of feeling drained, and I'm still going through like some of my grindy frustrations about like the expectations that I have and about some of my desires, fears, survival strategies, agendas, and stuff, and just working with them and just observing and just witnessing and like course correcting and yeah, being aware of when certain things come up and just playing with them and redirecting when I can, and yeah, when I become aware. And so yeah, that's really good, like to be able to notice like when those subtle things really come up and how quick it is, like in certain realizations, like how quickly action can be taken to course correct. And that's like antelope came up for me, and that was like a really cool, awesome totem for me to work with this week. And yeah, but like ant, so ant is patience and determination and dedication, yeah, cooperation, all of that. And so, and each player is needed to be on the team. And if one player isn't there, then the team's not complete. And so I'm on a team of volunteers for an organization that is related to people that I love and hold dear to me. And I've been volunteering with them for a year and a half maybe, and just, you know, wanted to support them and didn't know really what I had to offer or share, but I realized that I do have a lot of great ideas and I am creative, and I do think outside the box. And so it's like more about like what do we get to do, what do we get to play with, how can we make this fun, you know, and true and everything. And so it's been really rewarding to be a part of that, and like, yeah, and to connect and to bond and like to enjoy like the work that we're doing together. And it's just, yeah, just the camaraderie and like, and all of that. Yeah, the intimacy. I like that a lot. And so it's been, yeah, really great. And it's been great for me to practice showing up for what I love, because I had such the hardest time doing that, like a lot of my life, like showing up for what was really important because of certain saboteur, you know, archetypal stuff where I didn't feel like I was enough. So if I didn't feel like I was enough, I wasn't enough to be there or to show up or something. And that kept me like in the ghost, like, yeah, kind of disembodied archetype, like, yeah, disempowered, and in a disempowering cycle of like shame and like, yeah, not enoughness, and then blaming myself for not being enough. So, but that was just silly talk, and really like, it was just like, just show up and be yourself and love yourself and share your love. Yeah. So that's been like really great practice, and like just being able to, yeah, let go of how I think I need to be to show up and just show up. And so like I have been practicing and working on that for a couple years now, like really following through and being impeccable with my word as best I am able to. And yeah, all of that. And Jaguar came up this week too about being impeccable and integrity. So, but my story, yeah, we've been doing meetings with our volunteer group on Zoom for the last couple months. And like, I know we're all going through our own experiences and our own struggles and our own challenges and our own opportunities and our own learning and our own paths and our returning to ourselves, remembering, awakening, no matter what stage we're in, it's happening. And so just get to remember that too. And like, we're all in this, like, I don't want to say we're all in this together because that's the script. That's that script. But we all are together, but we all are alone as well, like on our own path. And that's what the Hermit's about. Yeah, the Hermit is all alone on top of the mountain, looking within the lantern. Yeah, and he's got his staff to the ground, number 9. So it is lonely sometimes. We can feel lonely and we can feel like we are all alone, and yeah, but that's just because we're all one. We're alone, but we're all one too, and we're together. But we are each a part of the whole. And so I figured I was listening to my stories that I was telling myself. Like, I didn't really feel like showing up to the meeting because, oh, I'm tired today. I feel really drained. Man, I don't know how like the group is feeling about certain things. It might be awkward, it might be uncomfortable or strange. Like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I don't know if I have the energy. I don't know if like, yeah, and it's just kind of survival strategies of what are they going to think about me, or what am I going to say, or how do I prove myself, and all of that kind of stuff. And that was all silly machinations of the mind. And I was watching and observing, and I was listening, and I was like taking the challenge from the devil archetype to challenge rigidities and challenge certain beliefs and challenge stories and yeah, all of that, challenge my bullshit. And so like, yeah, I was very aware of that. Like, okay, this may not be true. But like, it's okay if I allow myself to be tired today. And if I feel uncomfortable, I can feel uncomfortable about like the dynamic or maybe what's exchanged or any of that, whatever is coming, or feels like it's being projected or, yeah, anyways. But yeah, and so I kind of was going back and forth all day. I don't really know if I want to do this today because it's just be so easy not to show up and just to avoid it. And that was my avoidance. And I was like, oh, I'm avoidance. Like, this is my avoidance. This is my void dance. And so it's like, okay, so what's really important? Ant community. So I really need my community. I really love my community. So if I need them, they probably need me too. And then I was thinking about something that I read like, I don't know, months ago about like psychology and group dynamics and how it's helpful to have people that think differently, because otherwise you get stuck in this group think mentality, and then it's like there's just no room for any new life or new breath of creativity or exchange of ideas. And so I was like, well, all right, yeah, maybe it's just like I get to be, yeah, that odd one or that other alternative voice that maybe like kind of helps widen a perspective or show that there is another perspective. I don't know. And then like just show up and just let go of my expectations and what I want them to be, or what I want them to see me as, or what I think they need me to be for them, like, and just be like the love that I am and show up and serve like what I can and be the love, yeah, that I am for all I am. And I also took a challenge to, I had a conversation with my twin sister, who, yeah, we were talking about some certain concepts about the inner and the outer work, like not getting lost in the inner work and like in the dreaming and never like committing to action or walking your talk and all of that. And I know that is true. That's definitely true, because both parts are essential, the inner and the outer. And that's what we're doing, is we're linking the inner to the outer and the outer to the inner. And that is forming the circle, the arc, the mother arc that connects and rejoins the whole. And so that is the tree of life. And that is the mesocosm between the micro and the macrocosm. And so, yeah, that's the space in between. And that is just so cool, because that is like part of the Trinity too. And like some of the symbols that I've been working with and all of that, which is really freaking amazing. But like, it was so cool, like how just all these things lined up. And these are all my resources that are helping me remember and restructure and reform and reorder and rebuild and be true to me. And so it's like, whoa, like seeing all that stuff like coming up, getting deeper, actually deeper visions, clarity. Like I feel like my third eye is like exploded open, and I'm seeing all of these things because I'm just paying attention and or more receptive to my imagination, because there's more space that has been made to witness and observe certain things that are coming in. And yeah, it's just like a development of intuitive abilities, which is swan medicine, which is very cool. And so, yeah, and swan is connected to dragonfly, which I'll bring up later, because dragon's been huge for me lately. Dragonfly, like, yeah, it's totally power totem of the summertime and the sunlight and the color, and the reflection and the refraction and the projection, the projection of light. And so that's how we like create, like it's through that, through the light and through the dark, through the light and shadow. But anyways, yeah, before I go branch off on another little thing, I showed up. I decided to show up for that meeting, even though I knew it might be uncomfortable. And I was like, oh yeah, it gets to be what it gets to be, even if it's uncomfortable, even if I'm uncomfortable, even if they might be uncomfortable, like, and all of that. So I was like, okay, that's where it's at. Just gets to be. And just surrender and like just working with the death archetype and just like remembering, oh yeah, I can let go of everything, like so that life can be freed and received and welcomed and birthed into being. So just letting go of all of that, like as it comes up sometimes, just surrendering it and allowing it and kind of seeing what's needed or what's being asked or what I can offer, what feels right, or just letting it unfold in all the ways that do, like, yeah, that they do when they come through, you know. And so, yeah, I felt like it was really important for me to show up, and always getting all these keys about action. It's time to take action. So I was like, okay, inner action and outer action. Showing up would be a good practice to put into action, and so that's what I'm gonna do. And so I did. And because of Ant and just remembering like Beaver building, and I have a part to play. And even if, you know, my loved ones don't understand or they don't agree or can't comprehend where I'm coming from, it's okay. I'll still show up. I'll be love. I'll offer all I can, and I'll allow the other to have their experience. And I've been working on that this week, realizing that like it's all a bunch of stories. We all have our own stories. Some of our stories match up. Some of them are the similar. Some of our stories are like way out there and different. Some of our stories are true, and some of our stories are half true. Yeah. Some of our stories are just sob stories, and some of our stories are fear stories, worry stories, how terrible is it stories, and kind of things like that. So, you know, they're all just stories, and if we can remember that they're stories, like maybe we can open to like, okay, you're allowed to have your story, you know, like, and if that's the story you're choosing, that's the story you're writing, that's the story you've chosen or that you're authoring, okay, instead of getting mad at them for them having the wrong story or a story that's not mine or whatnot. And so like, yeah, I knew that on a couple different levels, but like got to deeper insights about that, and has to do with like seeing, and that's ego medicine. It's number one, ego medicine, like kind of stepping back and detaching from like what's right, the small details right in front, and getting a larger view, wider perspective, a bird's eye eagle view. And yeah, not being above it, but like overseeing it, I guess. Yeah, overseeing. So it's kind of funny, which relates to Art as a boy, and the child that sees, because the child is innocent and free, and the child is unself-conscious. The child is like receptivity, the zero that holds all but is nothing. And so yeah, that helped to remind me to, every time I got like stuck in my head or like kind of felt like certain feelings about things, like remembering not to take them personally. Oh yeah, I just get to be all I get to be, and that's everything, and that's nothing too. And so whatever it is, it is. And so like, yeah, I was able to stay grounded and pretty centered, even though it was in certain ways like I felt a little awkward in certain ways, but that's okay. Like, it just gets to be awkward sometimes. That's part of it. That's part of the whole. That's part of all of it, all that it is. And it can't always like feel like really freaking graceful and ecstatic all the time. It's gotta feel like, You know, we got to have those awkward moments too, and those are just as valuable as well. So, yeah. Um, I just, yeah, felt like really pulled outward. It's time to show up. It's time to step up. It's time to speak up and just be love. And just, yeah, do my thing. Get in there and do my thing and don't worry about the outcome. And just give it in service, forgiving, receiving, forgiving, listening, receiving, forgiving. And so like those seem like 3 aspects of the exchange. Like listening, holding the space for receptivity, which means surrendering and letting go of everything. And like being present and just like being open to receive. And then receiving, actually being receiving, being present and open to receive what's being offered. And then allowing that to be forgiven, given, to be forgiving. Yeah. And really looking deep into that, like what the forgiving is. Yeah. And how that's generative. Yeah. So even though, some of my group probably they don't understand, but I hope they know who I am, and I hope they know, like, I hope they remember who I really am. Like how much I love them and what I would do for them. So even if they think maybe I'm a narcissist or I'm not compassionate or whatever for not going along with the prescribed programs, and it just, just feeling in a way rejected in certain ways, but I know I belong and it's okay. You know, whatever it is, it gets to be. And I'll just do my thing. I'll just do it best I know how, and I'll just be true to me. Be the best love I can be for me. And offer and extend that love and allowance and care and encouragement for all beings and for all my loved ones that I care about and that mean everything to me. And even if we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, I know we can relate. And I know we love each other, we care for each other, we want the best for each other. And so that's what I want my focus to be, and to free them to be and to learn like their own things, whatever they need, like however they be. And just because growth doesn't look like it's happening doesn't mean that it's not happening. So it's always happening in certain ways and stages and phases, even when there's stagnation. You know, there's still that little spark that's still there, that's waiting to give life and give light. And so just remember it's there, even if they've forgotten or I've forgotten. Get to remember. So remembering that, like, to free someone is to love them, and to love someone is to free them. And so just free them on their path to be as they are. That's justice. And like and as I am, that's justice. And then maybe we can come together, you know, through our hearts. You know, and there can be some true, like, understanding. Yeah. But true relating and understanding. True allowance. And receptive. Yeah, generosity. Allowing all to be. And working and playing or just receiving. Yeah. So, one of those things, like, there's so many animals that, like, I want to talk about because all of them have helped me this week in so many ways. And I just got the most profound things about everything. But yeah, it is all about the greening right now. And I realized too, like, that facing my fears and, like, writing them out and then expressing them and sharing them to, like, really freed up some space for me after I was able to express that and release some of it. Like, and that's about rabbit. Rabbit, facing your fears. Rabbit came up at my summer circle, my summer solstice circle, as one of the cards that were drawn. And like I paid a little bit of attention to rabbit, but like, and I remembered like a little while later, oh yeah, rabbit is really about facing our fears. And so yeah, rabbit is about facing our fears. And so that's rabbit 30. And so that's like the 3, the Empress, and the Fool. Yeah, 2. So that's kind of interesting. Like, where it does, like, our fears, like, they can be something that drains us and takes our life force. Or if they can be corrected and redirected, they can start to feed or nourish our life force. And yeah, then we can focus on growing new things and focus on being and focus on living and expressing. Yeah, so it's interesting, like kind of clearing the old debris, and then new life can breathe and be born. Yeah, reborn. So facing my fears and my anxieties and my insecurities and my survival strategies and my expectations, my agendas, and my desires for comfort and safety and all of that, and belonging. Yeah. Validity, legitimacy, all of that, like seeing that I don't need to go outside myself for that legitimacy. And like, I know that that's my right to be legit. I'm too legit to quit. And that's like never give up. And that's Badger. And Badger was also a totem that was drawn in my summer solstice circle, which I didn't really pay a lot of attention to at the time either, because yeah, I was just focused on some other work and qualities. But like, I came back to Badger a little while ago, and I was like, oh yeah, because like I was thinking about like the chip on the shoulder and like being aggressive and being defensive and stuff. It's Badger. Badger medicine 29. That's 11. Linking the lower to the higher, the inner to the outer, and it's all about the roots, and it's all about getting grounded, and it's all about like being ferocious when you need to, and using that anger to get out of your apathy and complacency, or like your doldrums or pity party or whatever it is, and just saying, go get it, go do it. Badger. And it's kind of funny because it's like when Badger is imbalanced, that's when like it's like over controlling and the chip on the shoulder, defensive, like rawr kind of thing. And so that's okay to be like that, man. Sometimes we need to be, you know, because fuck that. But yeah, it's kind of funny that Badger showed up, and I'll read a few things about some of these notes that I took. But I just wanted to mention those things, and then just always remembering the dog. Dog is my companion, and dog is my loyal friend, and dog is loyal till the end. Friendship medicine, and loyal companion. That's my loyalty to me. That's the loyalty I get to be. That's the loyalty I need for me, is being true to my love, being true to all the love that I need, and that like I get to be. So like dog has really helped me. And that's 14. And that's related to temperance too. Yeah. And reduced, it's 5, and that's the inner teacher, which has been popping up for me too. The Hierophant, number 5, the inner teacher. Yeah, listening to the inner teacher. And so the dream that I read a few videos ago, they all blur together, about my dream with my family that was like a Last Supper theme around a big rectangular table. And their long stares, delayed blinks, not really understanding, and then the wild old man that came in that was dancing and spinning everything and like creating different patterns that nobody understood. And it's kind of funny because I like looked at that dream a little bit more, and it was just like, yeah, it's just like letting the spirit come through and forth. And like, even, yeah, some of me understands some of what's happening, but I don't even understand sometimes like what's actually coming through or what's actually being manifested until like later. Like, and I don't, yeah, so it's like, let go of the need to understand. You don't need to understand, just let it come through, like in certain ways. And so that's been kind of trippy and cool to see like the full and at play in those ways. Like, to see how, yeah, letting go and being the full and being that receptive child and letting go of all those attachments and those like descriptions and those identities and everything, personas, masks, and stories, to let the inner teacher come through and to be danced. Yeah. And so that's kind of funny, just a lot of spinning and dancing, and then like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay if no one understands. Yeah. So that's like pretty freeing too. Like, just get in there and do your thing. Don't worry about the outcome. You know, like we can't rid the world of sorrow, but we can choose to live in joy. And so choose joy. So focus. What's my focus? My focus is no longer people don't want to wake up. You know, like my focus is look at how many people are aware and awake and showing up. And look at what I can choose, and look at all the opportunities for me, and look at what the catalyst this is for growth and for claiming our well-being and for claiming our sovereignty and learning all these new things that haven't been possible before or haven't been available as they are now for us, because the veils are lifting and they are lifted for those who want or who are open to see and are open to receive. That's the apocalypse. That's the thinning of the veils, the lifting of the veils. That's when we can see all things for what they really are. And so it is kind of trippy seeing certain things like that, like knowing who we are, remembering who we are and the fullness that we are. Then we can see what is like on the outer planes as well. Yeah. And how they relate to what's going on within. And so it's like really freaking amazing to have like those multi-dimensional perspectives. Yeah, being able to hold those and like, and allow those and like welcome those and receive those multiple perspectives. And so just wow. And that's like more too, like the rainbow energy is coming in, and it's like Aurora, Princess Aurora of the dawn of the new golden age. And like it's Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness, it's the diamond consciousness of clarity, like the light dancing, the prisms of light reflecting, refracting, projecting, you know, all of it, all the light and the shadows. And I just wanted to, yeah, and it's all about play. So it's all about art, play, and creativity. And that's how kind of like I started my work in alchemy is through that, because you know, like meditation is great and like all the spiritual practices are great, but like some of the things that I was getting was we're too serious, and because we're so serious and we're thinking that the sacred is only one thing in one way, that we're not opening receptively to all ways and all things that are like all our possibilities and all our gifts and all our remedies, you know, like we call on all resources. And that's one thing about Badger too, is that Badger isn't shy to use anything and everything that he needs to get the job done. And Badger's unconventional, you know, and yeah, really cool power animal, but and the one of the finest healers. And so yeah, linking the above and the below. And so and connected to the womb cave, like they live in the ground in their little burrows and all of that, and they protect and they fight to the death to protect their home. And it's all about the home right now, you know, and the earth and our hearts. And so I really appreciate all that, but like just connections and being open to like how things are related, to how everything is connected and like, yeah, reflected in everything. I wanted to show you guys this. Like, this is my first like painting that I ever did just for like fun. I didn't even know it was gonna be like, I just want to create something, and it doesn't even have to be anything. I just want it to be like fun. I want to play with color and some symbols or shapes or whatnot, and this is what it turned out to be, and it was so fun to do, and I loved it. Love is who you are, love all you are. And it was like just the most magical, fun thing, and it was for me. It wasn't to impress anyone, it wasn't to prove myself, it was just to create and just to play, really. And that is like, has given me so many things. Like, wake up and play, fucking A, it's okay. Wake up and play. Just play, okay? God damn, just play. So God wants to play, so let's play. And so, yeah, like just doing like, allowing myself and freeing myself from expectations and what things have to be, reminding me that like through my art and creativity, because that's what like really started to help me see is when I started engaging in that creativity that my soul had been asking me for so long to receive and to choose and to express for me. But because I had all these ideas and old beliefs in my head about why I couldn't, why I wasn't good enough, why it was going to be too hard, why I didn't have it, or what, I don't know, why I wasn't enough, or it wasn't going to be enough, or I didn't want to make mistakes, I didn't want it to be wrong, so I wouldn't even try, like, and then just accept a substitution to fill that black hole. And I was starving, my soul was starving, I was skeleton woman. Have you ever read Women Who Dance with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes? She's a storyteller. She's a record keeper. Yeah, she tells a story about skeleton woman. And maybe I'll bring that in next time when I talk about death. But yeah, I was starving myself, and I was like totally in the desert, wandering in the wastelands forever, it seemed like. And so finally, like, I started listening, like, to my little soul just crying and weeping. And I welcomed her home, and I started to listen to things that she was telling me. And then, yeah, following through with what felt right and what felt true. And that was like little by little by little, and step by step and bit by bit, and coming back home to me. Yeah. But I was allowing myself to express like what I needed, because I'd been suppressed and oppressed and repressed and depressed for so long, and I would medicate myself, numb myself, distract myself, dismemberment. And now it's all about remembrance. And so, yeah, just, there's so many good things to share, express, free, and be, receive and offer and give. Yeah, through me. Like, that's what I get to do, and that's what I get to remember. And I am an engine of mass creation. I am an engine of mass creation through the divine to work through. And so, like, that's my focus, is what do I get to choose? What do I get to contribute to? What do I get to play with? What do I get to own? What do I get to claim? What do I get to cultivate? What do I get to allow? What do I get to include? What do I get to integrate? All of that. Like, what do I get to honor? Build, structure, form, and include, nourish, nurture, care for, protect, all of that. So instead of fighting against something, like, no, that's fine. Like, I've already said no. No has already been said. So now I can move on and say yes. I can still say, nah, no to your bullshit. But yes to my shit, and yes even to my bullshit, because it's something I get to work with. And yes to the gold, and yes to all the strengths, yes to the limitations that are the future strengths, which are really freaking amazing and funny, because I realize that one of my like biggest weaknesses or vulnerabilities was like speaking and public speaking and speaking in front of others. But I'm beginning to realize the more that I practice it and that I cultivate this gift that I've been given to work with and to learn and to develop and to hone, that it is one of my greatest skills or my greatest gifts that I have to work with. And I've always felt like it was such a limitation. But I'm beginning to see that what we feel is our biggest limitations are actually our biggest future strengths. And it's just the parts of ourselves that need a little bit of nurturing, nourishment, and encouragement to be expressed and to be refined and to be given forgiving. And like, yeah, because it's like all of the things that we get to work with, like those are our superpowers actually, like the things that we saw as our limitations. Like we get to like restructure and reorder and like work with all of that and build with it, because like it's just, yeah, we have been given the raw materials. It's not all structured. It's just like something that we get to play around with and see how it fits together for ourselves, see how it fits together for us. And then once we like kind of go through that process of learning and discovering and building and structuring all of that, laying our foundations, then we get to bring it out in the world and help other people and help build like with the skills that we learned, that we have built up ourselves with. And that is like just the gift, you know, like wow, we have like natural gifts and talents and abilities that we can love and nurture and nourish and grow and strengthen and cultivate too, like all of those, like, but yeah, also our limitations, like the, you know, who knew that those were our greatest gifts too, and all is well. And that's why it's all is held in the well. So like any limitation, any thing that we feel like we're shortchanged on or whatever, that is like, that's not something that we're lacking in. That's something that we're being forgiven. So forgive yourselves for that limitation. Forgive each other for that limitation. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's forgive each other. Let's forgive everything, all things for, yeah, for not, yeah, being what we thought they should be or whatever. Like, and yeah, let's claim those back, reclaim those for ourselves. Yeah, for our true, whole, full selves. And that's, yeah, that's one of the things I was getting. So I wanted to share that. And one other medicine companion that came up, and she was one of the allies that came up to me at the beginning of the year. That Spirit told me, these 9 animals you're going to work with this year, because they're going to help you build and structure and fortify and reorder your structures and your foundations and what you get to build. And I didn't really like totally understand everything at the time, but like now, yeah, as time's gone on, I'm just like getting more clear about everything and how many 4s were in all those 9 animals. And I might just come back and do a video about all the 9 and how they relate and how they structure and yeah, everything help to, yeah, coagulate, yeah, the wound and whatnot. So number 4, dear, gentle dear, gentleness, gentle generousness. And so dear is trusting and loving, and she has faith, and she knows inner knowing that she's connected to the Great Spirit, and she knows Great Spirit's love for her and for all things. And so in the book, in the story, she was going to the Great Mountain, which reminds me of the Hermit in a way, going to the Great Mountain to visit Great Spirit, because Great Spirit was calling her. And on her path, in her way, comes a demon to scare her and to scare her away. And dear, she's not scared. She knows what's going on. And she just says, oh, well, all right, please let me be on my way. I'm on my way to see Great Spirit, so thank you. Like, kind of just like, I'll just be on my way now. And he did everything he could. The demon did everything he could to scare her, but she wasn't fooled. And she like just relaxed into her love, and she remembered like who she was. And then the demon, he shrunk to the size of a walnut, because that's how great the power of her love was. And that's how great the power of gentleness and faith and trust. And friendship is, like connection and belonging is, like, and that gentle spirit, that innocence, you know. And so, yeah, that's a really great ally for me to call on too, because I do remember that, and I know that's true. So it touches me and resonates deeply for me. And Deer, yeah, Deer is such a graceful, beautiful companion, and connected to the divine feminine wisdom. So I love her, and I thank her. Thank you, Dear Medicine. The power of love and faith and trust. Yeah. And honor, and knowing that we're held and supported and guided on our path. Always. So thank you, dear medicine. Really glad I got to show up this week. Like, and it just like was a choice that I got to make. So choosing to show up on Monday, even though it was gonna maybe be uncomfortable, and it was a little bit, but it was okay, and I was really glad that I got to show up and play and offer what I could offer, and receive what was being given to me. Like, because it's good practice, like, to be with others and to remember, like, oh yeah, everyone's having their own experience. Like, let them have their stories, let them have their own experience. Let's see what we can exchange, you know? So just working on that a little more. And I have like made some huge reconciliations with things about letting go of trying to convince anyone of anything. And just like bringing forth what I have to give instead. Yeah. And claiming what I need for me. So that's what I'll choose instead. And I feel like that's a better course of action and redirected energy, empowered energy. Because it's like really focusing on the things that I can do, not what someone else can do, something outside me. It's like, I have it, it's my responsibility, it's my accountability to me. So I'm proud of myself for being accountable and for holding myself accountable and for challenging myself. And I'm thankful for the interactions and the relationships that have come up this week to help me, remind me about that, and to help me follow through with that, and have integrity with that. So yeah, I got to show up not just for that, but I also got to show up for a lighthouse roundtable on Zoom. I was going to go into the shop or into the place where it was at, but I was feeling tired, but I allowed myself to be like, how can I make this work and be easy for myself and still show up, but do it like in a way that, you know, works for me or serves me, or is like kind of a cooperative effort. And so I was like, okay, instead of driving out, like maybe that's just like what I get to do, is I get to show up online and through Zoom and whatnot. So I'm super glad I got to show up for that, like to participate and just to play a part and witness and observe and honor and listen, show up to receive what was being given, and then for giving my own like support and participation and being, you know, what I have to give. And yeah, that felt really good to initiate those things, like with community, and then follow through soon with some collaborative efforts and sharing through that community, through that commune. So that's cool. And then I also got to show up and go to a rally to stand up and speak up for our rights and for our community and for our sovereignty and for our right to life, our right to breathe, and our right to be free. And it was really encouraging to be with a lot of people who are like-minded and who are showing up and standing up and speaking up, because they know what they value and what they love and what they know and feel in their hearts to be the most important. And that's like all of this for all of us. And so that was really encouraging, like having that fire under my butt and just saying, yep, I'm willing to show up and not like making any excuses or being the devil's advocate of, oh, how things have to be, and just like letting all that go, just like being open to all possibilities. And that is like, wow, just the full, and so full, so full. So, love it, love it. Yeah, there's so much. And then the strength card keeps coming out, number 8, strength. And the lion keeps coming up. And strength is integrating that power. Yeah. That power that I have for me, and claiming on that power. And like, yeah, I realized too, like, wow, that some of me was really afraid of the power that I had, and that's why I dishonored it and gave it away. Hoard myself, or yeah, dishonored my own self. Of course, we're conditioned and programmed into doing that, into self-destructive programming and all that. But yeah, just like stuff we get to unlearn and deprogram and renew and recycle. Yeah. So really paying attention. Yeah, like maybe I was so afraid of it because it was so powerful, and emotions are powerful, and like we are so powerful, and our bodies are so powerful. And I realized too, when I was just contemplating last night, I realized I was so afraid of my body for the longest time because I realized how powerful it was. And that's why, yeah, some of me didn't want to be in it sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting, and I think I'll look more deeply into that. Yeah. Because I was looking at things like embodiment and what it really means to embody things, embody life, and embody like my life force, and embody me truly and fully. And yeah, so those things were coming up, like why I didn't want to embody myself or fully, or why I didn't allow myself to embody myself fully, because it was a way of protecting myself in certain ways, but in another way it's a way of hiding and playing small and forgetting. Yeah, forgetting life, forgetting me, and trying to get my needs met on the outside of me by seeking others' validity, attention, approval, legitimacy, or yeah, all of that. So looking more deeply into that always. So I just wanted to show you guys a soul collage card that I made a little while ago. It's Hercules and the Nemean lion. I don't know if you can see because yeah, the glare. But this is like the perfect archetypal image, and myth to like kind of examine our struggle with our anger and our emotions, or our unclaimed aspects, our unclaimed power, our denied, yeah, the denied parts of our being, the parts that aren't expressed or honored or allowed, or they're suppressed, repressed, hijacked, usurped, all of that. And so like it is the like pretty much a good image of the inner struggle. And yeah, that's all about the inner conflicts and the inner struggles that we get to work with, because those are like our strengths and our allies that we get to call on, claim, reclaim, include, integrate, alchemize, purify, and reform. Yeah, so they can be reborn and all of that. So it's been like a really amazing like couple months since my dream came up March 1st about anger as medicine, and just working with it the whole time, like all the variations. It seems like the anger can be or seem or feel like different, like it's a huge spectrum kind of funny thing, like where sometimes like the bitterness or the cattiness or the irritation or whatever, that's like on the mild end of the spectrum, and then like on the other end of the spectrum is like all the rage and all the like the that part of me, or that part of that whole that wants to fight and wants to lash out, and wants to kill and wants to be violent and, you know, all of that. And that's like the monster archetype and all of that. And I've been getting things about the monster and the violent, suppressed archetype, and the dark goddess, and how she's been dishonored and how she's ready to be reclaimed and honored and known again. So, yeah. And I feel like she's working with me now to integrate all those parts that I couldn't allow. And so that's really wow to me. It's like, Mom, that's wow. And so, like, some of those parts were, you know, the devil. And the devil's like one of my natural strengths because I am like that rebel and I am that challenger. Like, and that's kind of funny that I wasn't calling on that power, that resource for me. And I am, like, you know, clever and witty and silly and funny, and that's just like just how I get to be, like, in my own ways, you know. And so, like, yeah, just calling that inner strength and that challenger to challenge things, yeah, to challenging challenges and challengers. And so challenge all those ways, those rigid ways that get rigid because we get locked into a box, you know. And so, yeah, that's when stagnation rot happens, like when growth ceases to really be able to thrive, you know, and to be expressed and really honored. So that's interesting. Different things, just different things going on. And so, yeah, one of the other companions, of course, that was always, because she's one of my main sisters and allies, is Spider. Spider medicine, the weaver, dream weaver, believer, the freer, the deceiver. She can be all of it, you know. She's the mirror and the reflection and the light. The dark holds all life. And yeah, she is connected to the Wheel of Fortune, which is pretty cool. And I'd forgotten that her connection to the Wheel of Fortune. And I was just reminded of that like a couple days ago. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Weaver medicine. And so that has been coming up a lot too, like with all the threads and the tapestry and all the weaving and reweaving and refortifications and with the Tree of Life and rooting, being rooted and rooting deep, yeah, and reaching up, and the whole web of life, the Tree of Life, yeah. So that's really freaking awesome. I feel like she's helping me with my communications and with my word and with my creations, with what I'm creating. So it's magical. Yay. So yeah, antelope and dragonfly. Just want to Antelope's all about the action. So like antelope's really cool and quick-witted, swift acting, can respond in a split second to anything like that it needs to, and it alerts the other animals on the prairie, you know. And some of that is through its like a flash of its white tail, and yeah, so that might be interesting to look at too. But antelope is 37, and so that's like fertility and the chariot, and yeah, so that might be just like acting on instinct and what you're given and your inner knowing and all of that. But I did write some things down so that I will share. And then dragonfly, the power totem of the sunshine in the summertime, reflecting the light and its magic, wisdom, and connection to the elementals, the elements, and the plants, the nature spirits, and the land, and yeah, all that. And it's a connection between the water and the air, and so the unconscious and the superconscious or the conscious. Yeah. And being a nymph, oh yeah, there's so many cool things about dragonfly, like really cool how it goes through its own transformation and all of that. Like when it's a nymph in the water and it's ready to become a full-fledged dragonfly, it actually uses the water inside of its body to help unfurl and unfold its wings. So it pushes from within to push forth. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting too, like how that happens. Yeah. That pressure within, you know, it helps it unfurl and unfold to become what it is, what it really is. The true dragonfly. And so Dragonfly was once dragon, according to some legends, who Coyote tricked into proving himself. Coyote was tricking him and said, "Oh, if you're so powerful, then show me like what you can do." And so Dragon was like, "Oh, all right, I'll prove it to you." And so like he changed himself into a little dragonfly, and then he got stuck. He got stuck in that form of dragonfly because he was trying to prove himself, and that's how he lost his magic. And he lost the ability, to transform back into a dragon. But that's interesting in a way too. Like when we prove ourselves, we lose our power, or when we feel like we have to prove ourselves, that's when, And so it's like, if we know we're empowered, we don't really have to prove ourselves to anyone. It's like the lion. The lion doesn't have anything to prove, like really. Like the lion knows it's regal. The lion knows it's badass. The lion knows it's like a killer. The lion knows it's a protector. The lion knows it's noble. The lion doesn't need to prove itself to anyone. And so that's kind of funny. Like where you just know, you just are. And it just is. And it's a waste of energy to try to prove shiz, you know? So that's a good reminder for me. And then the iridescence and reflecting the light and the lessons of the light and the sunshine and all of that. And a reminder, that always, because the dragonfly flies always. It can fly backwards. It can fly, in any freaking direction. It can hover. It can dive bomb. It just has like lots of skill, lots of power, focus. So, and connection to the fairy realms and magic and all of that wisdom that dragon holds. And I did get like a lot of dragon synchronicities and a lot of serpent synchronicities and a lot of winged serpent themes this week. Yeah, and then like with the be ye as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. Yeah, and that's like the ground and the air. And like connecting the higher and the lower, or the above and the below, and the inner and the outer. And iridescence, Osiris. Yeah, they're Eri and Osiris connects to iridescence. And also iridescence is the peacock, connected to the peacock feathers. So, yeah. Maybe I'll wear this when I go out. I have a mask. But anyways, peacock. Peacock is a reminder to laugh at life and to laugh at our follies and to enjoy the beauty. And then peacock also has ugly feet. So there's a legend that says every time he catches sight of his feet, he forgets and then he remembers again, and it's like screams, ah! Because his feet are so ugly, but the rest of him is so beautiful. And so it is kind of like, let's look at the vanity, look at our own vanities, then remember to be humble and know that it's right to be beautiful, but like remember that we're humble too, like because we do have like our limitations as well, and they're right. We need both. They're both parts of the whole. They're both necessary for our growth. And so like, be humble, be grounded to the earth, remember your feet, and also like freaking rock that plumage, girl. So that's all of it. And then the peacock feather, the iridescence, it corresponds to the fermentation process in alchemy, where we're stewing in our own juices. And like it's a fine process to where if we stew too long, it becomes like vinegar and too acidic, and it burns and it destroys from within. But if we stew for just the right amount of time and ferment, then that's alchemical magic, and that's nourishment, and that's like the kombucha process, like it's kind of funny, like where there's just the right essential ingredients and patience and time and care and attention, for that process to be allowed and completed. And I just kept working with it, like endurance. It was challenging, but it was like, in a way, it was pretty rewarding too, because it wasn't all like getting kind of beaten to the ground. There was a lot. I mean, it was all like all around, but like ups and downs for sure. But like the Bliss Bunny highs are pretty great too, after the triumph of struggling and overcoming that suffering, that we go through. I like the Bliss Bunny magic, and that's what helps remind me of Rabbit. Is like, yeah, it's kind of funny to be a Bliss Bunny, but we got to be careful about that too, because not everyone has good intentions, and not everyone like is, yeah, on the up and up with true. And so, yeah, we just get to be aware of that and balance that. And yeah, so our fears, and then, yeah, like sometimes the things that kind of keep us in the air or not grounded in a way. Yeah, it's okay though. It's always okay. It's just like paying attention, feeling how things feel, and seeing like what choices can create what possibilities and all of that, or what patterns, what patterns they can support, reinforce, or collapse, like depending on what kind of energies we're working with and where it's directed and how much we're paying attention to things. our own our own intentions, and what we're choosing, what we're agreeing to, and all of that. So yeah, so one more crow. Crow 24, crow 2 and the 4, high priestess, the emperor, and the lovers. 6. So that's like the union of opposites. 2, the shadow and the light, and the 2 eyes that become 1 eye. So it's like crow has a legend that crow was fascinated with her shadow. She was fascinated and mesmerized by that thing, and she was pecking at it, pecking at it, pecking at it. She would just like obsess over her shadow until one day her shadow woke up and became alive and ate her. And now she's dead crow. And so that's kind of funny. Her shadow ate her, and she's dead crow now. So she sees into the shadow realms and the worlds below, and she sees with crossed eyes. So she sees through 1 eye first, and then she sees through the other eye. So I think that's pretty interesting to look at that, the inner eye and the outer eye. And she's a shapeshifter, magic, and yeah, the alchemist. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's magic. It's all about working with magic, the light and shadow. Shape-shifting our reality. Let's see if I can just read off a few things, and then I'll end this video. But I'm going to come back with another one with some resources and tools and some fun things to play with, and just some fun things that I have to share, and some things I've gathered on my journey and my path the last couple of years. Like, that's really been great for alchemical play, and like kind of getting to know like the psyche and all the different aspects at play. So what I wrote down about about spider: weaving, dreaming, and opportunities, revelations, language, restructuring, fortifying, unifying, dreaming. An antelope is action, just do it. Respond and inspired action, calling on and calling in all resources and receptivity. There's so much more though about all of that, but that's a good summary. Crow, shape-shifting magic and seeing, cross-eyed or the 1 eye and then through the other eye, vision, shadow and light, inner and outer realities. And crow is also about the rebel, about calling the shots as you see them, and like paying attention to that inner rebel that wants to just have a passionate voice about what's out of imbalance, what's out of balance, and what is out of alignment with natural and cosmic law. And Crow does actually teach all about natural law and cosmic law and all of that. So that's really, really, really cool to me. I'm going to look more into that. And then Deer, gentleness, love, inner strength, power, faith, connection, direction, light-footed, light-hearted, sure-footed, rooted, connected to Great Spirit's love, faith, and friendship. And then Otter came up for me too. Last night, there was a alchemy board that I made at the beginning of the year that I just went downstairs to get because it was calling to me. And I brought it up and I looked at it and it all made so much sense. And I'll probably, for the next video, I'll talk about it and I'll share. But Otter was in there, and Otter is a balanced woman. That's woman's energy, like fully integrated, fully balanced woman. Like, wow, that seems like a powerful ally for me to work with and honor and welcome and receive. So woman in balance connects to the water and the land, the bridge. It's friendship with life and playfulness. Yeah. And like the cool things about Otter too, like I feel like, Otter's really about family and community and connection and socialization and the wellness of the tribe. And also Otter's fur is really warm and insulated, and it repels the outer moisture and the cold and everything. And so that's something to look at too, like our own coats and our own shields and our own resources that we have to protect ourselves with. So, Bear, introspection. Bear is such a good ally. I love Bear. And Bear was huge, and it really resonated. And I've been feeling Bear for the last couple weeks, but I didn't check in to Bear until today. Check in with Bear, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did, and I'm glad Bear wants to play. So, introspection, inner knowing, right brain, pineal gland, because it all relates. Womb cave and stillness, dream time, dream lodge, Brahma's cave, visionaries, mystics, and shamans, the circle, the head, clarity, rest, dreaming, hibernating, restoring, reborn, awakening, opening, the channel, the pathway, power of knowing, owning our authority, our strength to overcome weaknesses, both are necessary. There's joy in the silence and richness of the mother's womb. Own your dreams and create your concrete realities. And I feel like the dark goddess and the hermit is at play here. And it's kind of awesome. So the next one is Badger, the boss, which is kind of funny because that's one of the archetypes I've been integrating as the boss, because I never wanted to be bossy. But it's like, I kind of, that kind of like, created more of an internal tyrant for myself. Yeah, an inverted disallowance, yeah. So, kind of funny, like how I wouldn't allow myself to be, yeah. But the boss, it's all about, like, burrowing, in that cave. It's about the cave as well, and then like linking the above and the below, the higher and the lower, yeah, the inner and the outer, all of that. And it's the willingness to fight. And then like one of my little mantras a couple years ago was be willing to bite. And it's just kind of funny, like be willing to go after what you want, so be willing to bite, and willing to fight for what you want and what you love. So do something with it. Roots can ground. Oh, okay, this is all about being rooted, and don't give up. They use any and all methods to ensure healing, so unconventional methods. So be open to all possibilities. So Badger's the keeper of the medicine roots. Roots can ground negative energy into the earth by allowing illness to pass through a body into the ground as neutral energy. And then there's some good questions too, like, have I been too meek in certain ways? like because I want everyone to be comfortable sometimes, or I want to create that peace, or I want to mediate. And because I want peace so much, maybe it's false peace sometimes, and I don't speak up when I need to, or I don't express what's asking to be said. Yeah. Or what would serve the whole. Yeah, to say, or to express, or to share, to offer, give, or be. And so, yeah, I can like that a little more. And then Badger says, like, do something with it. So it's all about action too. And cut away the dead wood to seek new levels of expression. And so, yeah, like cutting away the dead roots, or removing the dead growth or the old growth so that the new can come through. That's all about that. So that's what I feel. And then Badger's quick to act and not panic. And unconventional methods to exact a cure. So he uses his anger to stop rolling around in apathy and removes barriers that don't grow any corn. So yeah, recycling that energy. And yeah, there's a lot more animals, but I think that was freaking amazing, and I'm so glad and grateful for like everything that has been given and presented and available this week. Just always there, like it's just waiting for our openness and our receptivity. Like we can claim it all. So, yay, all is well. So be well and be full and be empty to become full, and be a fool and just play and be all that you are and all that you need, all that you get to be, all that you want to be, all that you choose to be, all that you be. So I'll talk to you later. Be well. Okay, ciao.